Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and guys, I am excited to bring to you today the Luminkey 98. Now, this is their new full-size keyboard that's supposed to release in November, like the beginning of November, and I was lucky enough to get this very early, and I'm gonna be fully trying it out. They said there's a nice hidden feature that I need to take a look at, and I'm gonna make sure to show it to you guys in this video. Now, thank you guys so much for your support, and I can't believe how far this channel has come, and I'm really hoping that I can truly keep growing this channel, making better content. So please make sure to let me know if there's anything I can fix or even things that you'd like to see, and I'll make sure to get them done. So let's get straight into the unboxing and take a look at this new 98 from Luminkey.
So starting off with the unboxing of the Luminkey 98. Now, this is an awesome carrying case. I know that when I was doing the Wu-Ting unboxing, it had a really cool carrying case. Luminkey also has provided a really awesome carrying case with like a manual. The cable, it's braided and it's coiled, which is really cool. Gives you extra little paddings that you can put on the bottom of the keyboard. An extra switch, only one though, and then a switch puller and keycap puller. So now let's get the keyboard out of the box and let's undo the plastic wrap. And you guys know I'm very bad at this, really sorry, but let's get this off. So we're looking at a full-size keyboard. Technically not 100% full size, but it's got the numpad and it's got the keyboard on the left. It's more of like a 75% layout keyboard and then a numpad. So let's weigh this keyboard to see how heavy it is before we do a sound test. And it comes out to 2.1 kilos, so kind of heavy. So now that we've done the sound test for the stock and lubed, we're going to have to do a teardown and go more in depth of this keyboard to see what's inside and how does it work. Because there's an incredibly interesting feature of this keyboard. Now, there's going to be a total of 8 screws that you have to remove, and they're going to be on, as you can see, like 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, and it's going to be the hexagonal screws. So we get all that out, and then you get the magic. This is really cool. So you're actually able to separate the numpad and the keyboard and actually move it around. So the numpad and the keyboard can be moved into different spaces depending on what you're looking for. So that means southpaw or not. Now, there is a very thin foam, like the palm foam on the bottom of the keyboard case, and then some foam on the actual PCB. Now, this foam isn't the greatest foam, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen this kind of foam on a little bit more of like budget keyboards, which is not going to be most ideal, I think, in terms of say getting a really thocky sound. But we're testing this whole thing out, see what mods we can make to make it even sound better. But I mean, in general, this keyboard sounded pretty dang good. Now we're going to open this up to take a look to see what is actually underneath, what's making this work, and to see the battery size as well as the weight. So as soon as we remove those screws on the actual bottom of the case, we can see we have the metal plate. Now this comes with two 2200 milliamp hour batteries. So that's total 4400 milliamp hours. You get a decent battery life with that. And in general, you're not going to be using your keyboard a crazy amount wirelessly, I would think, dependent on you. Now, I'm very curious of what's going and holding all of those pins, but it's actually those portions there. And it's actually quite interesting how it all works together. Now, they're all connected together so that you can actually get the information from the numpad as well as the keyboard portion to be able to work with this keyboard. And it comes in tri-mode, so the Bluetooth and the USB dongle plus wired. So we're just going to put it together, and then we're going to see a little bit more of the actual board itself. So now I give you a bit of a different angle. Let's go actually to our regular angle to take a look from above. Now, taking a look, as you can see, this is the layout, right? So you can see in there how it's a 75% keyboard and a numpad. Now, we put the pour-on foam on the bottom. I tried to see how much space was available. It was really difficult to tell from the sides, but we're trying to see if this will fit. Now, you want to make it fit perfectly because there's going to be a specific, on the cases you can see, little edges that are supposed to connect right in and let the top portion actually fit perfectly. The foam that I normally use, which is the car sound dampener, isn't fitting. It's a little bit too thick. That's about 2 millimeters. So that means you have less than 2 millimeters of space available to make this work. Now, I'm going to actually open up the keyboard. So there's an top case that's actually fully screwed into the PCB. And we're going to just take a look to see how it is. So once we get the screws out, we can actually take it out and take a look to see exactly what kind of foams is being used and how much foam is inside. So now that we got that portion out, we see that there is a foam layer between the actual plate and the PCB, and the plate seems to be just a regular PC plate. So you're going to get a pretty decent sound from this because of the amount of foam that's used. I think in terms of the full Thocky deep now, you need a little bit more on the bottom. So because the sound dampener doesn't work, we're actually going to go with the tape mod. I'm going to do about 2 to 3 layers. In this video, I'm going to show you with 2 layers added. I might do more in the future for my own personal self, depending on how the sound comes out. Now, we're going to put this all back together. It's very, very simple to do. Luckily, they even give you a tool in the actual carrying case. I just like using my electric tool, but you have a tool that they provide, which is great. Like, the fact is, you don't have to buy extra things to be able to do this with the Luminkey 98. One thing to make sure is when you're putting on the tape mod, make sure you're not covering up those pins, because any pins that get covered is gonna make it difficult to use. Specifically, I was doing a tape mod and I actually covered the pins a bit, and like wireless modes would all work, but the wired mode wouldn't. So those are something to keep in mind when you're doing the tape mod. But we'll do a sound test to see how it sounds. But I think it's gonna be really, really good with the tape mod in it. So one thing I did notice was the spacebar sounded not so great. I'm going to be honest, it had a quite high-pitched sound, a little bit of a tinging too. So what I'm going to do is add some sound dampener into the actual spacebar, and hopefully that will fix the spacebar and make it sound really, really good. In general, this happens with a lot of keyboards. I do this for pretty much every single keyboard I get because, unfortunately, it's just how it is. There's a lot more hollow space within a spacebar. It's a lot longer. So this isn't something that just only this keyboard has an issue of. It's just many keyboards will have the same issue. But having a sound dampener like this just works really well because you can just cut it up in squares or what pieces you need and then put it in and fix it up yourself. So let me just give you a small sound test of the spacebar before we go into a sound test. So, what did you guys think of the sound test of the modded keyboard? Please let me know. I think it sounds so much better now. So I did remove all the screws right now because during my review, I want to just go over a few things of this keyboard, which I think was, in general, my thoughts. Now, this is a really cool keyboard, right? The fact is you can change the numpad location, southpaw or on the right. Those are really, really cool things because personally, I like having the numpad on the left. Now, as I said earlier, just make sure when you're doing a tape mod, don't cover the pins because you don't want to ruin or have something not work. Now, just those pins and being able to put it on there and using it like this is a really, really innovative idea, I think. This works really well. I mean, yes, I personally wish that you could actually just kind of separate them completely, and then, you know, depending on, you can put them together with like a magnet, and then when you want to have the numpad a little bit more distant, you can, depending on what kind of space you want on your desk. That would be an amazing, amazing feature, but again, something like that would be a lot more difficult, and I can see why they did it this way, which works really well. And this is a really, really great idea. And I mean, I think the pins is something that I'm seeing a little bit more lately, right? Because my last keyboard review I did, which was the Electrix Tiga, it actually had those pins too. Now, it seems like this is something that keyboard companies are actually going to start moving into, which is really cool. But I do wish, though, like as I was showing you a bit earlier, there isn't much space underneath to put extra foam or something thicker. Now, I'm thinking that they could actually maybe increase the edges a little bit higher where it connects right onto the top case. Now, if you could actually add a lot more foam to the bottom, like I think this thing could sound amazing. Like really, really good with almost any switch. I think that is something that would be amazing to see the next variation of this specific keyboard. Now, in terms of space on your desk, yeah, it's a bit awkward, but I do like my numpad on the left because I'm usually doing something with my mouse while I'm using the numpad. So I always keep it on the left now. Now, Luminkey actually brought a nice case with it. I will go into it a little bit more, but I want to show you the software before. So Luminkey this time around actually made their own software. So it's not VIA or anything like that. It's actually Luminkey specific software, which will be available on their website. Right now it's just not there, but you will be able to find it once this keyboard is released. They are supposed to release this early November, so keep your eye out because this is really cool. Now, this is a very, very simple software, but I have to admit the design of it was well done. I've seen many softwares out there seem like they're from the early 2000s. This one's a nice, more, I would say, minimalist, clean software. Now, it has a share feature, has a my account feature, the macro, you can change the functions, you can change your keys, which is great. The share one wasn't actually working, but that's just probably because right now it's still under works. But I think in general, it's a very simple software. And if you're not really doing a lot of customizations, this is perfect. But there is no lighting, so just be careful. There's no lighting features because this keyboard has no backlighting. Except the backlighting is only available on the Bluetooth, like QWER and T. So going back to this case. Now, this is a really cool case. Like, I wanted to give you guys a really good look. It has a velvet inside. Like, the bottom is velvet. Feels really great. Has this latch on the top where you can put extra stuff in. I think this is a really, really great case. Like, I'm really enjoying this case. I've been using this keyboard now for work and carrying it to work because I actually have to go to the office and I carry around my keyboard. This case is great because it has a handle right built in, like really perfect for carrying around. And you would think, because it's such a big keyboard, you know, would you want to? It's really not bad, honestly. Like, and for a full size, thinking it's only 2.2 kilos, like I have TKLs that are even heavier than that. So this keyboard actually is using the Gateron Silva switch. So it's very close to like a matcha looking switch. I think it's a very good match with this keyboard color. It's a green color. There is no backlight, as I said, for this keyboard except for when you're changing modes, but it sounds pretty good. It is a little bit higher pitched, though once looping it, I think I found it to be a decent Thocky switch, but not the best sounding amazing switch that I think. I think in general though, having some more foam or like some kind of thing, if you can find a thinner foam and adding it will sound really, really Thocky and deep. But for now, with just the tape mods, it's decently deep and Thocky, but not super deep. And it feels decently smooth too. It's not horrible. Now, by the way, those keycaps right there, it's showing different images, but it's not delete page up, page down. It's actually page up, page down, and then delete. It's a little bit wonky there. Not what I'm normally used to. But let me just compare this with like a different keyboard size. So bringing in my Crush 80 TKL, you can actually see that the size difference is not that big, even though this Luminkey 98 is supposed to be like a full-size keyboard. You get maybe 1 to 1.5 centimeters difference. Sorry, 1 to 1.5 centimeters difference in terms of size. So it doesn't actually take up too much space as much as you think it would. So I really think this is something that you should take a look at. If you're looking for one with a numpad and you need something for work, this could really work well. I really like this keyboard.
Now, what do you guys think of this new keyboard from Luminkey, the full-size 98? My goodness, I'm quite shocked of how nice this keyboard is. I actually am pretty impressed. I'm going to be honest, I'm actually pretty impressed, and I'm quite happy with it. I do wish that they did add a little bit of a better foam in the bottom in between. I think that's something that they could have done, or give some room for a little bit of play, like adding a little bit more tape or being able to add a foam of your own. It would have been nice to see a little bit more space available, just because it looks like there was ability to add it. I mean, like if they had just a little bit of more gap between the, like I would say, the side stands where it connects with the top keyboards. I think this is really cool though. Like I think this is gonna become my daily work keyboard, and just because it was really interesting to have the numpad on the left. I like this specific layout the most. Like the numpad on the left and then the keyboard on the right gives me a little bit more room for my mouse, and I like using the numpad with my left hand. It's just something that I prefer, especially because I'm usually doing something with my right hand with the mouse while I'm using the numpad. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. You can check the description to see the link to actually take a look yourself. And I'm going to have to catch you guys next time, but please come check out the other videos I got, and I'll see you on Saturday.